it was envisioned by the fathers of the Constitution. It talks of removing articles like 356, 361 and 321, some of the key provisions which help not only bring cohesion between the centre and the states, but also act like binding glue between the Union of India and its federating units, guarding India's territorial integrity. DMK wants to chip at those building blocks, or so it seems. It would be dangerous had it not been the fancy of one regional party in one state of the country we call Bharat. Let's look at some of the fancy promises made by DMK in its manifesto through this package, and I come back to discuss.
As the Lok Sabha poll battle nears, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has released his party's manifesto. From removing national education policy to banning NEET, and to elevating the status of Tamil as the official language and rolling back UCC and CAA, NT partner DMK's controversial manifesto for the Lok Sabha elections has raised eyebrows. While Stalin heaped praise on his sister Kanimoi for drafting the manifesto, the poll pitch has ensued a war of words. The BJP is calling the manifesto an anti-Bharat rhetoric.
स्टेट लैंग्वेज लिस्ट में तमिल भी है, 22 भाषा ऐसा लिस्ट में है, तमिल भी है, चिंता का विषय नहीं है। कब चुनाव आता है, हमेशा भाषा विषय पकड़ करके वोट इकट्ठा करने के लिए डीएमके हमेशा कोशिश करता है।
Even the Congress has now tried to distance from the controversial manifesto.
DMK in its manifesto, which may be appreciated as far as CA is concerned, Citizenship Amendment Act and Uniform Civil Code, all these issues are controversial issues, and most of the opposition parties have been opposing both the issues. As far as Pondicherry is concerned, if there is any statehood is given to Pondicherry, what is wrong in it?
But the left is rallying behind the poll pitch.
Raise several issues which need to be addressed, and India, that is Bharat Union of States, then what happens to the rights, powers of the state governments? For instance, they have demanded so much CAA. Why at the time of elections the government is in hurry to notify and frame rules? They could have waited for the new Lok Sabha to come in.
As we approach the highly anticipated Lok Sabha polls, is this manifesto yet another attempt at appeasement politics? That is the burning question.
All right, welcome back. We have an All-South panel of senior journalist Prakash M. Swami leans towards the right and the BJP. We also have Chandan Gowda, professor of the Institute of Social and Economic Studies from Bengaluru. And we also have Pulla Rao, political analyst, leans towards the DMK. So I would want to begin with you, Pulla Rao. I was a little taken aback with the kind of manifesto that the DMK has come out. Do you find yourself in agreement with this document? And if yes, how much? Really?
There's nothing wrong. They've raised issues which they want. What is the manifesto for? Should there be a common manifesto?
I see separatism. Just to add, I see separatism. It is smacks of separatism. Oh. You are saying there is nothing wrong?
Hardly. I don't think so. If you have gone through the manifestos of the DK, the precursor of DMK, or the DMK for the last 70 years, there's nothing new. You're giving it greater scrutiny. You're giving it greater invention. You're giving it a new interpretation. Therefore, it looks like that, maybe in a different context. All these things which they mention in the manifesto were there for the last 70 years on Hindi and other things and powers of states. And secondly, the CAA is a recent addition to our law. They have a right to comment. They have a right to be, they used to be taken into consideration. They have a peculiar state composition of their population. They have to address that. Everyone cannot come forward with a union, with a one single.
How peculiar
manifesto.
how peculiar is the composition of the state, say vis-a-vis a Maharashtra or a Bihar or a Bengal or a Punjab, Pulla Rao, if I could ask?
No, there is a
That it
peculiar in the
says
sense there are,
that you
there are
remove all
vast-
toll gates from national highways.
No,
Like
there are
national
vast
highways
amount
are
of,
national assets.
No, there are peculiar population compositions in different states. What concerns Bengal, Assam, doesn't concern Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. You didn't see people in Madhya Pradesh asking for a national register of citizens or elsewhere. Each state has its own problems. Maybe because of the language, maybe because of the fact it's a separate state. And therefore, their voice, what they felt, will win
What
the
has
votes and
toll
win them
booths
the
on
election.
national highways to do with the language issue? Pulla Rao, for God's sake, are you connecting the dots properly? You know, national highways, it's what has language, religion, gender, etc. got to do with national highways? Toll booths provide the sustenance for good national highways, and you need those fantastic highways to grease your economy, right?
No, you need highways, you need infrastructure in proportion to your need. You don't need voodoo economics to overbuild something. Go to China and see. You know, if you want to go into economics, we have different economics.
National highways
We have
are voodoo
different
economics. Pulla Rao, did you say national highways are voodoo economics?
It is voodoo economics when you go on building things which are not needed. I'm distracting the issue maybe, but all I say is that different issues come up at different times. And the DMK probably felt that these issues will find resonance with the people. That's the immediate need for them is to win the election.
Chandan Gowda, you know, you are at an institute which studies both social and economic change. Would you agree with Pulla Rao that national highways are voodoo economics?
Abhishek, I remember this was not a new issue. Even 3 years ago, 3 years ago, they closed down several national toll booths because they were in violation of a rule. I can't claim to know this very well, that within 10 kilometers of a municipality, you can't have a toll booth. And so there were many number of toll booths. So there's something going on there. And if you remember in the manifesto, they explicitly say there's enormous corruption being practiced at the national toll booths. So we need to look into what precisely is bothering them about the national toll booths. And I can't claim to any more than just this much at this point.
May I just add a sentence?
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, please, Pulla Rao, go ahead because I have to discuss some more important aspects of this manifesto, which I find little imbued with separatism.
No, let me add one sentence. As far as what the highways are doing is, they're charging huge tolls in some states and building all kinds of infrastructure disproportionate to the population in some states. They have number of toll booths. They just extract the money. Nobody can question them. And then they take this. And where are they building highway? Where are they building other super infrastructures? Shall I name the states and get into a very rancid argument? That's why I say it's voodoo economics. Voodoo economics was, it was decided long ago by
Prakash
the US,
Swami.
that was economics.
See, first of all, DMK is not
Prakash
a
Swami,
national
you know, do you
party
see dichotomy?
to comment on
Do you
national
see,
issues.
Prakash Swami, listen to my question first, then you answer to Pulla Rao and Chandan Gowda.
Sorry.
Do you see a dichotomy that the manifesto says they will scrap CAA rules which provide citizenship to persecuted minorities, in the same breath says that Sri Lankan Tamils persecuted in Sri Lanka coming to India should be granted citizenship. There is in fact an assembly resolution in Tamil Nadu with the same DMK government seeking the same thing, right?
Okay. First of all, DMK is not a national party to comment on national issues like CIA and Uniform Civil Code. We want to clarify whether this is an NDA or, if NDA comments something, that's understandable. Or if the Congress comments something, is understandable. But DMK is contesting in 21 seats out of 500 plus. Remember, 21. In 21, you want the entire country to be changed. And whether you're sure that the Congress is going to support you in all these measures. Okay, let me ask you a question. You are part of the Congress government led by Sonia Gandhi for 10 years. Why didn't you remove the governor post? Why didn't you remove the Hindi imposition? What were we doing when you're part of Manmohan Singh government? And you are talking about tolls. T.R. Balu was the transport minister in NDA Vajpayee government. Did he not agree to it? See, just because you are in a state, running a state, and you are now worried about the drug scandal being casting a shadow on the coming elections, they are talking about who prevented you from reducing the petrol price. Do you want central government to come and tell you reduce 200 rupees in petrol price? See, you people are not fools. People are no
That's
longer
voodoo
idiots.
economics. That's
They can
actually
see
voodoo
two
economics,
things.
not national
They
highways,
see two
Pulla Rao.
things.
You know, promising
No,
petrol
they
and
see
diesel
two
for
things.
65 rupees is voodoo economics, not national highways that contribute to
Correct.
India's growth and prosperity. But Pulla Rao,
And DMK came
Prakash
to
Swami, let
power
me take it. Let
by
me
false
take it to more substantive parts of the manifesto, Prakash Swami. And Pulla Rao needs to be grilled a bit if he's really supporting these. Pulla Rao,
No, the DMK is always an
Thirukural
anti-national,
is a sacred text.
anti-national
The
separatist
DMK
party.
says that Thirukural should be made a national book. Prakash Swami, hold on.
That is
Yeah,
because
of course,
Modi
it is
is
a regional
supporting
party, but it
Thirukural.
can have national aspirations, no problem. It's a
nothing
political
wrong.
party which is integral to Indian politics. If they have national ambition, why not? No problem with that. But then what they are promising is something which is disturbing, and that's why we are discussing this. So Thirukural,
promising
which is a
1,000
sacred
rupees to
Tamil
women
text,
all over
should be a
India.
national book, no
Remember?
problem. Absolutely. Absolutely.
1,000
But the
rupees
same
to women
DMK.
all
Prakash
over
Swami,
India.
let me complete.
DMK
Pulla
is
Rao.
not contesting
I
beyond
want Pulla
Tamil
Rao
Nadu.
on screen. I want Pulla Rao on screen.
Beyond Tamil Nadu, they are not contesting.
Something
I
has
want
happened
Pulla Rao
here.
on.
Yeah, one
Okay,
second.
Pulla Rao.
One second.
Yes.
Can you see me? One second.
Upside down.
I can see you, but you're flipped. I think, yes, you have to flip. You have to flip. You have to flip right. Flip, yes,
Okay.
now better. Yes, you're fine. Pulla Rao, the question is, Thirukural is a sacred Tamil text. And the manifesto says it should be a national book. Granted, obviously it should be. But then, this is the same DMK which does not agree that Bhagavad Gita should be a national book. Whenever there is a demand, and there have been demands for Bhagavad Gita to be declared a national book, the DMK has been on the other side of the argument. So obviously there are double standards. Similarly, you are talking about removing national education policy. You only want Tamil education policy. You are talking about a Supreme Court bench in Chennai. I mean, what kind of soft separatism is this manifesto really talking about, Pulla Rao? Full of dichotomies, full of anachronisms, full of double standards.
Okay. I appreciate it. Tirukural is not a religious book. It's a philosophical book. It's like the old ancient Chinese books,
I said
Confucius, other
sacred
things.
text, yeah.
Yeah, it's a text. It doesn't connote for any religion. There's a lot of wisdom in it. I think the Prime Minister has
Thirukural
quoted
talks
many
about
times
one
from
religion, which
Tirukural.
is Hinduism.
So there's no problem. You can have, that is their view. What I'm trying to say is, why should you have one view? You don't like it, don't vote for them. Oust them. That is their view. And they have mentioned other things. I think you should welcome it when they say they want it in a national thing. This shows their faith in the government of India, in a country called India, in the unity of India. They didn't say we want it exclusively here. I think you should welcome it when they've given it to the national table. All the other points.
No, they are
what we have said
there is a problem, Chandan Gowda. There is a problem, Chandan Gowda, and let me elucidate on it. Let me sort of articulate it. Then you tell me whether you agree or not. It is couching soft separatism in legalese. They're trying to sound it innocuous, but it is not. For example, it says that abolish the office of the governor. It says abolish Article 321. It says abolish Article 356. Now, if you read these together, the three articles, the office of the governor, the Article 356, which allows for president's rule, and then Article 321, which talks about the jurisdiction of the Union Public Service Commission. It weakens the Union of India as we know it, Chandan Gowda. It can directly have consequences for India's territorial integrity and sovereignty, Chandan Gowda. This is
Abhishek,
dangerous, Chandan Gowda.
I would agree with you if they had asked for a separate army of their own. But really, if you think about it, what they're saying about the governor's matter is that the governor should be appointed in consultation with the chief ministers. They're not saying abolish the office of the governor. I read the manifesto.
Till the office of the governor is abolished.
No, I think they say they should be appointed in consultation with the state governments. I remember that sentence clearly. But on the question of the cancelling the article that allows for president's rule to dismiss a duly elected state government, that's again an important thing to discuss. Abhishek, I think that what this manifesto has done is very loudly put forward a few contentious issues that have been building up over the years. I don't think these are directed at just the current government. It is a response to how the office of the governor has been abused over time and how the president's rule can actually be an instrument for doing other kinds of things, right? It can violate the spirit of the constitution. And I really don't think anything being proposed here is separatist, Abhishek, because if you recall, the manifesto begins by saying...
Are you suggesting there is an overhang of the recent standoff that has happened between the incumbent governor and the chief minister on the
also
manifesto?
In Kerala, and we've seen it happen across the country at different points in time. The governor is a tool of, who can intervene to create tensions. So it's not a non-conflictual relationship. More often than not, the central government uses the office of the governor to interfere in the state.
Prakash Swamy, you agree with that? That the standoff between the incumbent governor and the chief minister could have led to these kind of provisions coming in the manifesto? These kind of promises coming in the manifesto, Prakash Swamy?
See, there is a running feud between Tamil Nadu governor and the Tamil Nadu government. We all know that. But the Tamil Nadu governor insists on some probity. For example, yesterday he refused to sworn in Ponmudi as a minister, though Chief Minister's office wrote a letter, because he's not cleared. The conviction is only state. So they want a governor to act like a dog, like a pet animal, to do whatever they want to do. They were doing it when they were in power. They were treating the governors like a pet dogs. Now things are changing. It's no longer your Sonia Gandhi government in the center. It's a duly elected government in the center. Now you cannot play things with the governor. Now they are used to playing things with governor, kind of twisting the arms of the governor. There was a governor called Surjit Singh Barnala who will sign any papers of DMK government without questioning. They only want a governor who is submissive, who will toe the line. For example, how many promises did the DMK give in 2021 assembly elections are fulfilled? Did you give complete support to all the women? You're choosing the women in giving dole. You're choosing the women in allowing them in a free bus. You're talking of prohibition. We are opening more Arak shops. One of the DMK MPs told that the previous ADMK government was responsible for more widows in Tamil Nadu because of Arak shops and wine shops. Now you're double your wine shops and Arak shops. Now the number of widows have reduced. So this is a gimmick. DMK's poll promises are never taken seriously. In 1967, they came to power promising 3 kilos of rice for 1 rupee. They could not even give 1 kilo of rice. People who know the history of DMK will know that empty promises are the hallmark of DMK poll promises.
Prakash Swamy, since you mentioned 1967 election, Pulla Rao, I'll come to you, but let me frame it for you. 1967, because Prakash Swamy mentioned the election. 1967 is also the time that the DMK was burning, or the cadres at least were burning the copies of Constitution of India. In fact, in 1963, the Nehru government brought in or included secessionism as an anti-national act, partly, if not completely,
DMK was for secessionism.
in response to activities of the DMK. Exactly. No, not in 1960s. There is a statement from A. Raja as late as 2013, where he is on record saying, please don't push us, otherwise we'll talk of Thani Nadu. So this is the Thani Nadu DNA really creeping in this manifesto, Pulla Rao.
No, I think the governor has made a spectacle of himself in the country. Every little issue he should have used his discretion. He should have used his job also. He goes to Supreme Court has chastised him. He had to sign papers and send it back. Don't forget that I respect what Mr. Swami has said, but the governor also is gone overboard. You don't pick fights with the state you govern. You try to find the common ground, middle ground. Do it behind curtains. There were other governors in Tamil Nadu who acted with very powerful chief ministers like Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, and they held their place. You do it behind what the DMK is perhaps articulating is a governor should have some, maturity, a political background. You see, I tell you, there's a governor, this Kalraj Mishra in Rajasthan. He's a hardcore BJP. Yet he never had a day's problem with Gehlot. Not one day's problem in Madhya Pradesh, in Orissa. Why is that? Why is that? The governor's job itself is coming under criticism because of some governors. Why are the other governors getting along so well? Why is Kalraj Mishra there and nobody has pointed a finger at him? He was quite close to Gehlot. Gehlot never said he's a bad man.
Well, you sidestepped my question actually. You sidestepped my question. For example, you say that there would be no uniform civil code. But in the last 10 years, at least 5 times, the Supreme Court of India, the same Supreme Court which you are quoting, has said that uniform civil code should be there. It's part of our directive principles of state policy. It's been delayed.
That was a decade. So
why not respect the Supreme Court on uniform civil code?
The Supreme Court is not static, Mr. Abhishek. That was an earlier opinion of that bench of the Supreme Court. The present bench,
Supreme Court has said that UCC should be there as late as just about 4 months back.
No, it is in a very different context. If you want to go there, it's a very different context. And when you pass a law, you should see the law holds that you show that you bring people together. You don't divide them. That's what should be done by the body politics. They don't do that. It's not a way, you want to do something, bring all the people together. You want to do CAA, welcome. But draft the law carefully. Don't misdraft it and then have all this nonsense going on. You should have had a good draftsman. You mentioned various communities. Why not have better draftsmen? Why not bring better laws? You bring bad laws and then you defend them. You bring badly framed laws, let me say. Badly framed laws. We need security in the country. Nobody denies that. But you can't frame laws in such a way that stick on to them. Naturally, people get upset. The DMK is venting their
So you partly agreed that if the framing is good, maybe the uniform civil code can be brought in, right?
You have to frame it well. You have to discuss with people. The farm laws might have had some good, but they were passed through without
Okay, so in that case,
discussion.
you are sort of yourself disagreeing with DMK. But
no.
Okay, fair enough.
See,
Chandan
Gowda,
it's good that a regional party has national aspirations. It's good. It's a welcome thing. It's a welcome thing that a Tamil Nadu party is trying to cultivate a national vision. It talks about restoring the status of state to Jammu and Kashmir. It's talking about making Puducherry a state. I don't know whether there is actually a demand on the ground, but the DMK manifesto promises that. But the point is that the promises that are there in terms of changing the Constitution of India, some of them require 2/3 majority. Some of them really change the Constitution as we know it. Now, hypothetically assume that in the coming elections, the BJP gets 2/3 majority. They are saying 370 for them and 400 for the NDA alliance. If they change the Constitution in the manner they want, because they have the mandate, would the DMK, or forget about the DMK, you as citizen of the country, Chandan Gowda, as an enlightened citizen of the country, respect the changes in the Constitution if they are made?
No, I mean, majoritarianism can never be accepted at face, as it is. That you have to look at what is being passed. I mean, it could be an excellent law, or it could be a draconian law. So, Abhishek, we can't, we'll have to look at it case by case. But just by the fact of having a majority in both the houses doesn't mean a free license to pass whatever you wish. And you're right, the DMK's manifesto should have probably had a tone of consultation, that they would like this to be discussed with everyone, etc., etc. But in this case, they're starting out as the weaker party, right? They're taking on this central government that's, saying it's already going to perform for the next 100 days in these ways, etc. So I don't know. It's a complex thing. I see what you're saying, that why are they being so definitive about what they will get through without suggesting a dialogue, etc. But it's a manifesto. And I think, they're saying where we stand on these matters. These are things we stand by. But no coalition can actually, just because of having a majority, can pass whatever it wants. It has to be a law that everyone thinks it has virtue, democratic virtues to them.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, Chandan Gowda and Pulla Rao and Mr. Prakash Swamy for joining us. I would say on the issue of Office of the Governor, short of abolishing the Office of the Governor, maybe there is a point that the DMK is trying to make. We should have a debate on that. But then the soft separatism is something which needs to be taken head on. And that we'll continue to do even as we head into this election cycle. Thank you so much, friends, again for joining us. Short break. Trending burning question is on the other side.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
I am very, very happy to announce that Niva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's studio partner. Niva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing one claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
Trending burning question, powered by Reva University, Century Club Prime, AMNS, Acco Insurance.
Well, the fragile state, ladies and gentlemen, in Pakistan is once again exposed. After taking oath, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's first action was to carry out a military attack in Afghanistan. This at a time when Pakistan's economy is in complete doldrums. Just a short while back, reports also came in of a terrorist attack at Gwadar port. This only makes it even more difficult for Pakistan, which is struggling with a financial crisis, and more importantly, the military here once again trying to dictate what it feels should be the agenda of the civilian government. That's a trending burning question, but up first, these are the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Well, in fact, let's just play out some of the details in the story that we've been tracking very closely. and then we'll begin the trending burning question.
Armed Baloch militants forcibly entered the Gwadar Port Authority complex, leading to over 10 bomb attacks and heavy exchange of firing. The Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for this attack. So far, security forces have killed 8 people in an attempt to foil the attack. The Gwadar port is part of the ambitious China-Pakistan economic corridor in which China has heavily invested as part of its Belt and Road Initiative. This is not the first time that Baloch groups have attacked the Belt and Road Initiative. The attack came on the same day when Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reaffirmed that they will no longer tolerate cross-border terrorism in Pakistan. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, in fact, the bigger question at this point in time is with regards to, is this how perhaps Pakistan essentially feels, would they be in a position to tide over this entire crisis that they are facing at this point in time? We'll try and also go across to our guests who are joining in right now. In fact, Major General K.K. Sidha is joining us on this broadcast. General Sidha, in a short while from now, we'll also have our guest from Pakistan also joining in. General Sidha, at a time when Pakistan is in complete economic doldrums, in fact, they've once again gone with a begging bowl to the IMF. Very interesting situation has come up. One, they've not been able to pay off their debt. Perhaps the West will also be, in a situation where they'll try to control the economic help that is being provided to Pakistan, but that would be done in a manner that only helps the West. But at the same time, not being able to control the situation in Balochistan, or for that matter in Afghanistan, opening up a war with Afghanistan has only resulted in a situation where the things are going completely out of control.
Good evening and Jai Hind. See the Pakistan, when we see what is happening in its eastern front, all along the Durand line. Earlier, it was the Durand line, when it's facing with Afghanistan, when we are talking about what we have seen last few days, the way it has gone on the war, where the Pakistan, security forces are attacking by aerial attack into deep inside in Afghanistan. Now the border with Balochistan, which is also 1,000 kilometers, and basically it is with the Iran, bordering that area, Sistan area. The Baloch Liberation Front, Baloch Liberation Army, Jaish-e-Adl and IKKP, the Islamic State of Khorasan province. They are all now in this place very active, what you have seen. And basically, it has got a tacit support by the, Afghanistan, basically with Taliban. And what you are seeing, it is a front which has opened up, and then I think, in my judgment and my analysis, Pakistan will not able to hold. You just can't do it on your complete eastern front. The depth which they used to talk about, the strategic depth of Afghanistan, is totally lost. And the same strategic depth is now actually hitting them so hard that they will not get the strategic depth, and the strategic depth is being created inside the Pakistan. When they are asking, one was, when we're talking Pakhtunistan, that is a different ball game which we are not talking today. When we are talking about the attack which has taken place in Gwadar. In this Gwadar, if you remember, in August 2023, Chinese engineers were hit in Gwadar. They were killed, 4 Chinese engineer nationals and 9 Pakistani soldiers were killed. And again it happened in the month of February, and now what you are seeing. So it is a very, very, different situations, and a very, very,
what I don't understand, General Sidha,
and Americans are now warning them. Yeah.
one perhaps cannot really rely on what the Americans have to say on this entire matter, given the fact that they would be in a pretty much comfortable situation if they see Pakistan in a complete unstable situation where they can actually control every possible step. That's the most ideal situation for the Americans. But for us, think about this. Even before you've been able to settle your domestic issues, you've opened up yet another front. With Afghanistan, the attack that was actually carried out against the Tehrik-e-Taliban, many would say that this is yet again a military establishment which has completely forgotten what's the priority, forcing the civilian government to toe the line, resulting in a situation that you are completely making yet another blunder.
I mean, why would you even imagine or assume that it's the Pakistani establishment who will want to toe its own line right after the incumbent government's, coming back to Islamabad? Because the fact of the matter is
what explains for us then what really explains opening up another front with the Afghans. The Afghans have made it abundantly clear that as far as their understanding of the Durand line, and more importantly the action that you have taken against those Afghans who have been residing in Pakistan for several decades put together, who are packed in trucks and were basically thrown out of the country, it has also resulted in a situation that you have completely destabilized your whatever little relations that you have had with the Afghans.
No, the point is that we have repeatedly been asking the government in Afghanistan, the new the Taliban government, to crack down on TTP hideouts which are operating from the Afghan soil. And we have made it very clear day in, day out that we will not allow any foreign soil to be used against Pakistan. And fact which I wanted to mention earlier as well, it was the TTP infiltrators who attacked Pakistan's convoy, where we lost one of the senior military personnel, a lieutenant colonel, a major, and a captain on that attack, which served as a blow to the nation. Following which, Pakistani Air Force launched an attack in Afghanistan in 2 provinces. Now, this was a retaliatory attack. This was an attack which came after TTP infiltrators attacked Pakistan Army vehicle. Now, today's attack in Gwadar somewhat makes sense now, that how Pakistani launching attacks against TTP is witnessing a backlash, because again there are sleeper cells within Pakistan as well. And when Pakistan decides to launch attacks across the border, somehow
there was a time
are activated.
for us.
That means Pakistan really has triggered some lines, and Pakistan was right in attacking TTP in Afghanistan because there is something going on. Yeah.
For us, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow, and that's exactly what we are witnessing today in Pakistan. General K.K. Sinha, would you not agree that today Pakistan is essentially facing a backlash, as Faraz points out? I don't think so. This is exactly a backlash. This is a result of nurturing them for a very, very long time. The TTP-2, many would say, was an extension of the military establishment in Pakistan at some point in time, allowing them to be nurtured. And today, when it has gone completely out of control, they say that, look here, the Afghans are essentially responsible. The Afghan Taliban is essentially responsible. So is it not a lesson for Pakistan?
See, you are asking a very pertinent question. Pakistan will never learn from this thing what happened. It was the Pakistan's doing when they actually created what they were, the East Pakistan. It became a Bangladesh. It is some moment, the same moment of 1971. Now they are facing in their Eastern Front. What they were talking about earlier, their strategic depth, the Afghanistan, and what happened just year plus back, they were saying that, basically, हमने गुलामी की जंजीरें काट दी, they were, taunting the, Americans that they have to, take their baggages and leave the Afghanistan. See, the same problem when when you say कि my strategic depth and Afghanistan is my strategic depth. Afghanistan, they were riding the high horses. What happened now? If you see the Durand line, and we are talking about today in Balochistan, my guest from Pakistan is talking about something on TTP, and then you're talking Taliban. That we know, situations are very, very grim. The Pakistan, you know, the Taliban or Afghanistan government or the present government over there, they perceive, which is all along the Durand line and coming right up to your river line to Rahmyar Khan and then turning towards Quetta and then going to Balochistan. You say the moment has come. The balkanization of, Pakistan, after we can see, we can not easily only we see the dawn. We are seeing that is happening now. How we are going to control? See, BLA has got a tacit support. They have got it was covert, now it is overt support from the Afghanistan. And Taliban, it is known to everyone. And today what has happened? The two have been killed. BLA says they have done it. The Baluch Liberation Front and Baluch Liberation Army and Jaise al-Adl, which basically they are in Iran, they have been active, they have joined hand. The people also joined hand is the Islamic State of Kurbhan province. How you are going to handle? You are talking about, my guest from Pakistan is talking just about, what is happening in the TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and it is the Taliban who are doing it. How you are going to control this? I would like to listen from you.
Of course.
Well, in fact, Faraz, think about this.
Yes, I will.
Faraz, tell me something as a citizen. Faraz, as a citizen, forget about defending the Pakistani army right now, because you ought to understand that there are people who are dying of hunger in your country. Shehbaz Sharif, rather than addressing the pressing need of ensuring that food grains reach to the people of his country, he is more concerned of addressing what the military wants to achieve. Perhaps, don't you think that had he changed his approach, things would have been very different? Because already there's palpable anger because of the rigging that has taken place. No one is really accepting Shehbaz Sharif as the Prime Minister of the country. There is enough anger on the streets of Pakistan. And then you have a situation where the moment you take control, you are taking direct instructions from the Pakistani military and opening up a front with the Afghans.
The whole point, the idea is that the Prime Minister getting directions from the army is a common sense, and it is a common norm across the world. I mean, Pentagon advises the president and the president takes an action. Same goes in Pakistan. The military chief is advising the Prime Minister and there goes the action. And I have already reconciled the fact that Pakistan retaliated. Pakistan only retaliated, and the fact that we forget, and I see a very clamoring headline that Pakistan is reaping what it sowed. Yes, the entire world should reap what it sowed, because Afghan Jihad was not just a Pakistani tool, but it was an American sponsored Afghan Jihad against the Soviets, and it was the entire NATO, all the Western forces combined to support and sponsored Afghan Jihad back in the 90s. So it's not Pakistan alone which is responsible. And guess what happened? When Pakistan became an ally, created Taliban, and when their endeavor was ended in Afghanistan, they all went back, and it was their mess that Pakistan had to clean up. And that's what Pakistan is doing today. The Americans left the Afghanistan, and today Pakistan is cleaning their mess. That's the reality of the day. It is not just Pakistan's making, it is the entire world's making that happened to be our backyard in Afghanistan. That is the point. And when General K.K. Sinha said that, it is the BLA which is rising up in Afghanistan, let me remind you that Kulbhushan Yadav was caught in Balochistan, crossing the Iranian border into Pakistan, and it was the agents like Kulbhushan Yadav who were supporting Balochistan Liberation Army, and these are the non-state actors, foreign actors who are involved behind these BLAs and other organizations.
Let me
these are all the facts, not my opinion, not the government.
It's very rich on your part. It's very rich on your part to basically lecture someone else as far as non-state actors are concerned. If you were really concerned about non-state actors, then perhaps you would have taken action against the jihadi factory that you actually run in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which has been to a great extent dismantled by the Indian army with the kind of action that has been taken. And you do realize that you cannot continue with the fight on the Western Front as far as India is concerned. So perhaps you will find another reason to change the focus and, address the concerns of the Balochis, because they have made it very clear that they no longer want to be with you. And that is
Balochis
a
just
reality.
voted a
Whether you like it or you don't like it, you will have to fight.
They just elected a government in the province. That means there is peace. That means there is stability.
The fact of the matter is that you're living under the threat. Living under the threat. The situation that you have created in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and the situation that you have created in Balochistan is something that perhaps you should never be proud of. You do realize the kind of rebellion you're not even being able to quell anymore. And you must realize that a situation has come up that almost every project of yours is at stakes right now. You are literally selling off almost anything and everything that you have at your disposal to just stay afloat.
I mean, I will not give any credence to any non-state actors operating to destabilize Pakistan. Whether it's Pakistan, whether it's India, or whether it's in US. I mean, what we see in US Capitol rebellion was like thousands of people marching towards the US Capitol and go. Did the entire world call it a destabilized country, a terrorist nation? No. Such incidents happen. The government and the law takes its course, and that's the end of the result. People do not accept or give some sort of credence to any non-state actors or minorities who want to create a law and order situation in the country. And the state has all the power, specifically Pakistani state has all the power because it has fought a ferocious war for the past 20 years, lost 70,000 innocent civilians, lost hundreds of billions of dollars to the American-sponsored war in Afghanistan, and Pakistan state is still intact. Pakistan state will fight against these terrorists because, again, it is the Pakistani state which has to flourish, not these non-state actors who want to destabilize this country.
It's a situation that for us, you will not admit that something that you've nurtured all this while has now absolutely backfired. But what I find it extremely surprising, General K.K. Sidha, is that the civilian government doesn't realize that it isn't the same Pakistan anymore, because given the fact that people have also within Pakistan realized that the military establishment steeped in corruption does not really care about its own country. The Pakistan army perhaps has this distinction that no other army across the globe has. An army which is absolutely corrupt. Former army generals who are now outside Pakistan because they do realize that the country is down the drain. Once again, the same very military establishment is pushing that civilian government to make those Himalayan blunders.
You are absolutely right. See, the Pakistan, the military, the deep state of Pakistan, what the mess they have put in. The mess is not only politically, economically, they have put them down, militarily, strategically. It happened. It not happened only in 71 and 65 and what happened within, when we say with the Indian. What they have done it, how you perceive. Now, my guest, my friend from Pakistan who was the guest, now he says Afghanistan jihad, NATO joined it, so the Pakistan joined it. And he is trying to, justify that. At the same, and because Pakistan became the front line. And who made the front line? They were talking about the Pakistan is the front line, and there are three, that is America, the army, and of course Allah, they kept it aside. The same people, they are doing the front line of China, and today you are getting the beating back. Why all these things happening? It is happening for the CPAC, on which backdrop we are talking about today. When it happened in Godar, in that area, in Godar, the people have been killed is two. People have, who has been shot there. And what is the CPAC? India again reminded them, because you are boasting that this has changed the whole Pakistan. That has put you in death trap. And you are talking about the Pakistan army, sir. Pakistan army, it is known today, is the most unprofessional army of the world. The people are doing the business, starting from the panty to napkin, sanitary napkin, to anything, oil, gas, you talk about it, they are doing it in the Pakistan. The Fauji Foundation, so-called Fauji Foundations, they know whether it is a Papa Pizza and what is, other than the military thing, these, this military can do, other than the strategic war, thinking the way they should go, how they should do it, they can plan everything other than that. They have left it to the NCUs and JCUs to fight the battle. And that's why they're losing. And today, they have been exposed so badly that, even those NCOs, JCUs on which they were, fighting the war, the officers are all making money. Their complete ambition is to make money and go in some Western country and settle down over there. And they, of course, even now, the Middle East has refused them to come, because Saudi Arabia no more wants them to come. Qatar, no one wants to, come. Whether it is, they are not welcome over there. Now what they are doing it, they are becoming a frontline state of China, and this is happening. And the
General K.K. Sinha, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you. For us, I don't have the time to take a response on this, but it just appears that, whether at all the civil society in Pakistan will finally wake up and actually remind the puppet government that in doing what they are currently, they are only ensuring that generations to come in Pakistan actually die in hunger. Because for them, the priorities are completely misplaced. For them, the only reason why they are surviving today is because they perhaps need to cozy up with the military, or else their survival would be at stake. I'm sure this will be a continuing debate. Thank you very much for joining us on the Trending Burning Question. On the other side, the big debate coming up with Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami.
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
I want to support all the players that are in the squad. That is big, because in the program, you don't have the program here. That today, thank you, boss. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because people say, oh, big squad. But did you see the names? Under 18, under 18, under 18, under 18, under 21, under 21, under 21. And sometimes people, you can confuse, no, big squad. Do you know why we use too many and we put here? Because we use this guy. Few minutes in Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, or in Premier League, because of the circumstance. It's only, no? Sometimes people want to talk like, want to be nice. Come on. We have, yes, because we are not going to hide nothing. Big squad is long because we had too many injured players on the first team, and we should use all the kids that are helping us.
सभी 40 सीटों पर पूरा एनडीए की सभी पार्टियां अपनी पूरी ताकत से 40 के 40 सीटों पर ताकत लगाएगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी 17 सीटें एनडीए के साथ लड़ेगी। जनता दल यूनाइटेड 16 सीटों पर एनडीए के साथ लड़ेगी। लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी।
This is Republic Niva Bhupa Studio, your one stop for all the breaking updates. I am Rakshita Mishra.
इस्तीफा तो मैं भेज चुका हूं। साथियों, कल एनडीए गठबंधन के द्वारा बिहार में 40 लोकसभा सीटों के लिए किस दल को कितना